On our fuel for thought today, we've got Hunter.
Yep.
All right, what's
Yep.
your last name?
Brozio.
Brozio. So you probably get "What's up, bro" a lot, huh?
Oh yeah, bros. Everybody calls me bros around here. So
Are you a current, former collegiate athlete, pro athlete? What is it?
current collegiate athlete. Yep.
All right, what's your sport?
I play football. I'm a fullback for North Dakota State University.
So
Oh
you
yeah.
got to be stocky then, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
How tall are you?
I am 6 foot
Six
and I
foot.
weigh about 235 right now.
Woo! That is
Yeah.
solid. All right, don't stand up and scare anybody, but all right, 6 foot 230. Before you got there, in high school, did you play multiple sports?
Mainly football because I was from Florida. So I mean we had spring ball and then summer training 7-on-7 events. So the only time I really had to do was for track. So I threw discus and shot put.
Okay, oh, goes with the beef then, huh?
Yeah, I also did weightlifting too. That correlated there at the end. So I think my senior year I did weightlifting. So
What made you choose football? I guess how early did you choose football? Is it middle school?
yeah, so my dad was a big football player. He went to Florida State and ended his career with a pretty bad knee injury. So he pushed me to play football when I was really young. I mean, I started playing flag when I was, geez, third grade, fourth grade. I mean, I was really young. So I've
Okay.
always just loved the sport.
Going to college, did you get any scholarships, any interest?
Very little, very little. Actually played linebacker in high school,
Hmm.
and a lot of people said I was too slow. Wasn't big enough. That whole ordeal. Um, but I actually went to a camp at North Dakota State, and that was my first offer, which was a preferred walk-on. And I got a few small school scholarships after that, but nothing major.
Personally, how'd that feel for you? Like every kid that's wanting to play at the next level, you're wanting a scholarship, you're wanting all the attention. So were you kind of bummed or disappointed that you weren't getting more attention, or were you just excited to get an opportunity somewhere?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was for sure bummed out. I mean, you think you're a really good player, and I had one of a lot of awards in high school, large school defensive player of the year. So I felt like I should have been getting more attention, but I was definitely happy with after going to the camp up here and stuff and getting what I got after that. So,
And usually that kind of stuff, like it's really motivating for a lot of guys, a lot of
oh
athletes.
yeah,
There's a ton of good players out there, and you know it. When,
yep,
when I played, it was like there's some guys where it was like, man, not to be mean, but it's like this guy got a full ride. It's like I had buddies in high school that were just as good or better, and
oh
so
yeah.
it's always, but it's encouraging though, because instead of sitting around and complaining, feeling sorry for yourself, you're doing something about it, and you're continuing to improve and make your career a little bit longer.
Right, yeah.
Going from high school to college, what was one of the hardest things in that transition?
For me, it was moving across the country, um, being away from my family. I went from one extreme to the other, so from Florida all the way up to North Dakota, and that the cold. I mean, being away from family, that was tough. That was definitely probably the toughest thing.
Yeah, that's a pretty big switch.
Yeah.
I mean, nice days, not every day, but a lot of days to. Well, how cold is it there right now?
Right now, it's running the 30s and 40s, but it'll start creeping down here pretty soon. We'll get some snow, and it'll get in the negatives.
Yeah, well, it probably didn't happen in Florida, huh?
No,
What year are you?
I am a senior. I'm actually in my sixth year because of COVID, and I redshirted. So,
As a 6 year, probably looks a little bit different, but what does kind of the average day for you look like during season?
I'll wake up. We have lift on Mondays and Thursdays, and then our off days we have meetings in the morning. So, wake up, go to meetings or lift, and then I'll go back home, knock out some homework. Then I have class. I have three classes a week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday I have class. Just one class a day. And then we usually start meetings around 3. So I'll
Okay.
come to the meeting facility and we'll crank out meetings and then go to practice from there. We usually get done around 7:30, 8ish.
Is that including film study, or is that?
Yeah, so we have film from 3 to 4:30, and then we'll start practice and we'll practice around 5ish to 8. So
When it gets closer to game day, for instance, do you guys have a game this week?
yeah, Saturday.
Saturday. So what is tomorrow? Is it a home game, away game?
Home game. Yeah, so tomorrow it'll look like so our my position group, the tight ends and fullbacks, we call ourselves the crew chiefs. We'll go hit arm farm in the morning, so we'll get a good arm pump in, and then we'll do our we'll go from there, and our quarterback has a player. We have a player-led offensive meeting with just the skill guys, so we'll go over all our route concepts and look at coverages and stuff like that for the week. And then I'll go get some lunch, hang out with the guys a little bit. Then we'll come back and we have all of our unit meetings, and at night we'll have a team dinner, and then we'll have a captain's meeting. So just the players and the captains talk. And then we always tell a funny story. Somebody writes a funny story on Fridays. And yeah, then we'll be done. So
Well, I hope this Saturday goes good for you. That's
yeah.
yeah, the game weeks, man. It's that energy, that vibe. That's definitely something that it's memorable.
Oh yeah, there's nothing like it for sure.
And outside of your responsibilities for football, you got any hobbies?
Oh yeah, I love to hunt and fish. So
Mm.
I'm a big outdoors guy.
With the name Hunter, I feel like you gotta you gotta at least
Right?
or minimum fish.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned this earlier about I think you said third grade. Is that when you started competitive sports, or is that just flag?
Yeah, just flag football. I think I played some little bit of basketball, and I did little league baseball.
So you've had a few different coaches over the years that you can remember. What are some traits that you like in a coach?
One of my recent coaches that I've had, he actually helped me out a ton. He was just always like a player. I call it a player's coach. So I mean, he wasn't a stickler on everything. You know, he never bashed you. He always wanted to coach you. Like if you did something wrong, he would tell you what you did wrong, but he would always end it in a positive way. Like he would say something positive about what you did. And for me, that really helped me out a lot, because instead of getting told like, oh, like you did this wrong, like you're just not going to be good enough at this, or like you just need to give up. Like a lot of coaches will say that kind of stuff, but this guy, he always ended it in a positive way, and it helps you not get down in dumps and helps you not think about that play and plays after that. So
What about some traits that you don't like in a coach?
pretty much kind of the opposite of that. Like if a coach is just saying, you know, you messed up on this, and they don't really coach you or in a positive way, like I think bringing positivity into a player's mind is really crucial, because like I'm the type of guy, like if I mess up, I'm going to be thinking about it 10 plays after. I'm still going to be mad about what I did. If I dropped the ball, or if I maybe fumbled or missed a block or something, like I'm going to be thinking about that for a while. So I think, you know, if a coach, you know, like I said, ends it in a positive way, or at least tells you something you did right and gives you things that you can build on.
In your career, you've probably had some adversity. How have you been able to overcome the adversity in your sports career?
So I've dealt with a few injuries. I've had a few surgeries that didn't go well, didn't go my way. And I've had to play kind of through those injuries. It was really tough kind of being on the sideline during those times. And I look at myself as a leader. I feel like I'm a leader of this team here. And, you know, overcoming that adversity, I was just always like kind of put myself as what can I do, even though if I'm not playing or something like that, you know, like what can I still do to help the team? Like I'm here for a reason. Like I might as well do everything I can do to help the team and help myself. Like I just put my head down and go to work. I mean, there's no other really way to put it. But you're there for a reason. You still got stuff to accomplish. So
Yeah.
I mean, just put your head down and go to work and battle through that. And when you come out of it, you'll be saying like, I'm glad I did, not I wish I had.
What is one thing that you think has helped lead to your success so far?
I think just hard work. You know, I was always kind of undersized, not fast enough, but my work ethic, I think, has kind of led me to my success in football and in life too. I mean, having a good work ethic and being coachable, kind of putting your head down, not being the quiet guy, but not being the guy to talk back to a coach, whether you like the coach or not, or whether he likes you or not. I think people should avoid talking back to upperclassmen even. You know, I think just kind of putting your head down and go to work.
Knowing everything that you know now, you can go back to being a kid. What would you do differently?
That's a tough one. I would probably take my diet more serious, my body more serious. I think your body's a temple, and I mean everybody's told that when they're growing up and everything, but that's really serious. I didn't really start taking it serious until I was probably a junior in college, and the benefits I see from it now, I'm like, man, I wish I would have taken this more serious back in the day.
Yeah, 'cause it's easy. It's like, I remember teammates too. It's like, yeah, you can eat McDonald's all day, Taco
Oh
Bell,
yeah,
and
this
then
easy food
yeah, and you're burning so much of it. You're like, oh, I'm good, but
helps your health. It does a lot for you.
yeah,
People don't realize that.
no, not at all. And it's usually when they're older or like towards the end of their career or after they played. It's like, I wish I would have done this a little differently. Knowing everything you know now, going back to being a kid, but you had to choose a different sport. What would you choose?
Man, I'd probably choose baseball. That was something I didn't get to play in high school because of football. We had a spring season and spring training and stuff. So yeah, I'd probably pick baseball. I feel like I'd be pretty good at hitting.
Okay. Oh yeah, I mean 6'2", 230. You're gonna be a power hitter, baby.
Heck yeah.
You got to look forward to it. From the neck up. You look like you'd be a baseball player.
Oh yeah.
What's the dream? What's your dream right now?
The dream is to go to the league.
Go to the league.
The NFL, get a shot at least. But I have a backup plan. I've actually applied to veterinary school. Football doesn't work out. I have a backup plan. So
Okay. All right. So the league or vet?
yeah.
I'm guessing you field dress your own deer.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, I used to, love Bambi, a big softie. I'm like, I could never kill a deer. And then as soon as you put the rifle in and you're looking at
Right.
it, it's the buck fever when it's like,
Oh my gosh, yeah. Man, that feeling is awesome.
next section is just key questions. This is a tough one. But do you think that youth athletes, let's say middle school, high school, should be in a serious relationship?
That is tough. I think if you're in high school, middle school, high school, I mean, I don't really see nothing wrong with being in a serious relationship. The only thing that I could see wrong with it is when you're transitioning from, let's say you are going to a big school or a college and you're in a serious relationship. A lot of times from what I've seen, it can influence your decision making, whether you go to this school compared to this school. So, I mean, yeah, that's really tough. I think that if you can stay away from it, I think it'd be good.
Yeah.
Probably better for you.
Did you have a serious relationship in high school?
I did actually come to college, and that didn't last very long. So, long distance, I couldn't do it. Which, looking back at it now, it's probably one of the best things that could have happened.
Did you have any serious injuries in high school?
None in high school. No, I had one shoulder surgery, or not surgery, injury, and I played through it. My AC joint.
Grade 2?
It was grade 2.
Fullback? I mean, you're doing linebacker, I guess, in high school, but
yeah,
like still, you're having to wrap up and hit.
Oh yeah, I was a big hitter. Yeah.
Oh, I can feel it for you right now. Okay, what's a good piece of advice that you would give to a young football player? Kind of broad advice.
Yeah, like in high school or
yeah, middle school, high school, just a piece of advice you'd give them.
Yeah, I would say don't feed into social media as much. And you see a lot of things on Twitter, and it can influence a player. You may see one kid doing this or doing that, and it may influence you to try to be like that guy. Or,
yeah.
Be yourself. Don't feed into social media, and just put your head down and go to work. Another thing I would say is transferring is like a big fad right now, in college and in high school. I was one of the guys that transferred in high school from a smaller school to a big school. But in reality, if you're a good player, you're going to get seen. They're going to find you. And I've had multiple college coaches tell me that now that I'm in college. I've asked that question, hey, do you guys look at bigger schools compared to smaller schools? No, they don't. We've had multiple guys that are in the NFL. Actually, this guy right here, Cordell Volson, who plays for the Bengals right now. When he was in high school, he played 9-man football in North Dakota. And there's multiple stories like that, if you're good, you're going to get noticed.
Okay, yeah. So kind of going off of that, what would you say is one of the most important things to do right now for a young football player that's wanting to either just improve as an athlete, get better as a football player, play at the next level? What do you think one of the most important things, or more so, what should they be focusing on right now?
I would say nutrition. That's a big thing. Getting in the weight room. You don't need to be lifting, benching 350 pounds in high school right now. Your strength coaches are going to want to develop you once you get to college. Another thing is like don't feed too much into your highlight films. I know like a lot of guys, they want to put music to their highlight films or they, want to make it all cool and stuff. But these coaches, like they watch whole games. Like they don't just watch your highlight film. They watch the whole game and they evaluate you on every single play. And if you are talking to coaches right now, and if you're in high school and they're telling you things that you maybe need to get better at, or you have a goal weight already set, like, hey, like when you get to college, we want to see you at 245 or something, like make that weight, but make it be good weight. Don't get fat. Don't be eating bonbons on the couch. But definitely take it serious. Don't take any days off.
Now, speaking to that kid as well, someone who's trying to decide which college to go to, they're wanting to play that sport, whether it's a preferred walk-on at this school and maybe scholarships at smaller schools, or no scholarships, a bunch of scholarships. What would you say, or what advice would you give them about how to choose, what to look for when you're choosing that school?
I visited a lot of schools I didn't even have offers at. I went to a lot of college camps, and like when I came to North Dakota State, I don't know, it just felt like home. Like it just kind of spoke to me. Like another thing to look for is tradition. We have a really deep historical tradition here, and we call it, like, we're a developmental program. They want to help, they want to develop you. Like they always tell you, like, you're not going to play as a freshman. If you do, you're a really good player and good for you, but you're most likely not going to play. We're going to develop you into that player. Use your red shirt. That way you have more success down the road. So I think, if you're looking at colleges and you have a PWO and you really like that school, go for it. I mean, no one's telling you can't earn a scholarship.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me. I worked my tail off and I ended up earning a scholarship. So that's always attainable. But if a smaller school, hey, there's nothing wrong with FCS schools. There's tons of guys that have great success at those schools. It's a really hard conference, and you get to play in big games. They might not be on the Alabama, Georgia level, but I mean, it's still like football is football at the end of the day. It is just a game. But yeah, I mean, whatever kind of speaks to you. If you like the vibe of the school, if you watch a game and you like what's going on in the sidelines, our players, dapping each other up, having a good time, or are they arguing with each other? Like, you can tell a lot from just watching a game, whether it has good culture or not.
And that's a good point you said about, it might not be Alabama, Georgia, but also for kids that, want to play in the NFL or in the CFL or wherever after college. There are a ton of players that didn't play at all these big schools, and they're playing in the NFL right now. And so that's a good point. And, it's kind of what's your end goal. I mean, some guys that is their goal. They want to play at Alabama no matter what. And that's their dream. That's what they want to do. So do it. But definitely don't think that just because they're not playing at a big school, means they're not going to play at the next level. So
right.
That's good. What advice would you give parents who are trying to raise a superstar?
Man, don't force your kid to do anything. If you really want your kid to be a football player and he's like, I don't like football, like, let him play baseball, or maybe you don't even want to play sports. I mean, you kind of got to let them, like when they're young, sign them up for youth sports for sure. Definitely do that. Like, I'm glad it happened to me. I played football, baseball, like I did all that, and I love football. So, my parents, they, helped me play football. If they do, like, pick a sport that they like to play and they're really into it, then do everything you can to help them be successful in that.
How can youth athletes better balance everything they have going on in life between relationship, personal life, hunting, school? And what do you think is a good way for them to be able to balance that?
I think that you should set priority. I think you should kind of weigh out your options. Obviously, school should be number one, because school's going to get you longer or get you farther than than sports will. And if you have good grades, it'll allow you to play sports longer, essentially in the long run, once you get to college and stuff, and creating those good habits in the classroom. And then, yeah, if you're really into a sport and you have major goals to play at college or even go farther than that, then you should set that priority, number two over relationships. You should keep family probably number one before school and sports. But I mean, other hobbies like hunting or fishing, like you're going to be able to do that kind of stuff the rest of your life. Like video games, like all that stuff is going to be there down the road once you're done playing sport. So I think, yeah, I mean, it's definitely school and then your sport.
Now, what do you think are some ways that younger athletes can get noticed by colleges?
I think going to camps, college camps. Specifically, if a school is having a 3-day camp, I would go to those before I would go to the 1-day camps, because I think a lot of schools kind of already know who they're looking at the 1-day camps before the kids go there. I went to a lot of 1-day camps and honestly, they were pretty pointless. But if you go to a 3-day camp, you have 3 days to kind of show yourself and show what you're going to do. And even the camps that are like, I don't know what they call them, they're like jumbo camps where there's like 30-something schools there or something. Like, those can be good too. If you go there and you show out and like you get the eye of 10 schools, let's say one offers you, then other schools are going to see that and then they're going to be like, oh, like we should probably take a look at this kid. Like this school's offering him for a reason, so we should look at that. But I think the number one thing is like 3-day camps. Like go to those. Like those are really good.
Would you recommend that young athletes play multiple sports?
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. I know a big one like for football is like wrestling. There's a lot of guys that I play with now that wrestled in high school, and they talk about all the time how much it's helped them. Being
so strong, that body control and
body control and flexibility. Flexibility's huge. I should have probably mentioned this in one of the questions earlier, but like, man, there's some stiff kids and it hinders them. Like, don't be afraid to go to a yoga class.
Now, last section, it's called rapid fire questions. I'll give you 2 options. First one that comes to mind, just say it. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. College or pro sports?
College.
MJ or LeBron James?
MJ.
Venus or Serena Williams?
Serena.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Simone Biles or Olivia Dunn?
Olivia.
Early riser or night owl?
Early riser.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
Driven or realistic?
Driven.
Greatest athlete of all time in any sport?
Ooh, gosh, you're killing me. Randy Moss, football.
Lululemon or Nike?
Lulu.
Toilet paper over or under?
Over.
Thin crust or deep dish?
Thin.
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady?
Tom Brady.
Home cooked meal or nice restaurant?
Nice restaurant.
Savory or fruity?
Savory.
Mountains or beach?
Beach.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Camping or glamping?
Glamping.
Superhero or supervillain?
Superhero.
Crossbow or compound bow?
Compound bow.
There we go. Yeah. Hunter, I really appreciate you hopping on here. They said you got a game this Saturday, 2 days. So now I'm going to be tuned in. I'm committed now. Who are you guys playing?
South Dakota State. It's going to be a major game. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if I can't stream it, I'm going to keep up with it in the box scores.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you doing this, and thank you for sharing your experience and your advice. And hopefully, even if it's just one, you've been able to help a kid out there who's watching this.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Guys, that's your fuel for thought, and we'll see you next time.